Alright, we are live. Welcome everyone, welcome on into Bliss. This is Bliss 9, so this is a brand new sequence. So if you haven't done Bliss before, Bliss is really different from the rest of our classes. It's very slow, it's very soft, more elements of restorative and yin yoga, so the idea is we're going to rest in the poses a little longer, we're focusing a bit more on flexibility, so when we hold the poses a little longer, we can work on flexibility, and we are thinking about finding the breath and going within a little more. So should feel like a really nice, chilled out, slowing down class. Just because it's slow doesn't of course mean it's easier. If you're quite a busy-minded, jumpy person, if you're a bit twitchy like me, it can be the hardest of the types of class, but really beneficial if it is something you find hard to try and have a go at finding stillness and slowing down a bit. So this is a new sequence. So in terms of props that you need, we don't really need anything for this class. What we will be doing, however, is we're going to be doing a half frog. So a half frog is an absolutely lovely pose. This is how I sleep anyway. Where you're taking the left foot out, so the left knee is going to be in line with the left hip. If you're somebody that finds that your knees can be a little bit sore, it can be quite nice if you've got time to grab a little towel or a rolled up t-shirt or anything, and you can just, imagine this is such an item that you could just use that to provide a little bit of padding. If you've got hard floors at home, that can be really nice just there. The other thing you might want to grab is if you know that when it comes to forward folds, particularly the hammies that you, walking out, if you know that you're a little bit tighter there, it can be really nice to grab a strap or a dressing gown or an old t-shirt, literally anything you can throw around your feet and use a little arm extension. That can be really nice to have to hand as well. So that's about it really in terms of the props that we need. So just make sure you have got a bit of space and you can just chill out, and that's all you need really. While we're waiting to get started, if you haven't seen it already, tomorrow is Heroes for Heroes. We're going to be dressing up to raise money for the Sheffield Children's this is a bit of a tongue twister. Children's Hospital charity, and Jen and Chris will be here in the studio wearing their finest fancy dress items, superhero costumes, and you can join in at home with or without superhero costumes. I am in the process of creating what's surely going to be quite a pants little outfit, but you know, when you get the opportunity to wear a pair of pants over your tights. So you can join us with or without fancy dress. It's £5 and that's raising money for charity. So all the details on the website, or if you check out our Facebook, you'll find the post there. That's on the website. It's rise.co.uk and it's Heroes for Heroes with a 4. We've also got a gut health workshop on Sunday. Really recommend that with an expert nutritionist who's going to talk you through all of the impact that gut health has on the rest of your body, on well-being, and how you can work to find your best gut, your healthiest gut, and all the different techniques for that. So that is on Sunday at 10 o'clock, also raising money for charity, and check out that on our Facebook and website as well. So really recommended, come along and join us for either of those, and we'll get started soon. So thank you all so much for joining. You're all super welcome on into Bliss. So you might want to start to come on down, and we'll get started lying down on our tummies. What a delight. So feel free to come on down. Awesome. So you're all super welcome on into Bliss this evening. So we're going to start prone in today's class. So Bliss is a super slow, chilled out class, as much about finding the breath as it is about the movements themselves, as much about going within and slowing down the mind as it is about finding space in the body. We're just going to start off in crocodile pose. So crocodile pose is our prone shavasana. We're just lying on our tummies. You can bring the right ear to the mat, so hands could be underneath the head. And you're finding a nice stretch down the outside of the neck. If you feel like it, you could also bring the right ear down towards the mat and the palms face up at the sides, also a really lovely option. So it's just up to you really. And you can just let the legs relax. So absolutely no holding here. We're getting that same quality of rest as we would in our supine Shavasana. This is all about finding some stillness. So maybe closing the eyes here. And just starting to bring the awareness to the breath. Noticing how your breath feels right now. So noticing the sound of your own breath. The texture of the breath. How it moves through the nose, the throat. How the breath feels in the back body, in the lumbar spine, in the side body. Maybe seeing if you can let the muscles of the face relax. The eyes, the forehead, the cheeks. And seeing if you can start to release holding. So notice if there's maybe a little tension in the upper body and the shoulders. Seeing if you can let the shoulders soften, sink away from the ears. Maybe give the hips a little shake. And then letting the hips sink down, letting the legs be heavy. Full steady breaths in. And steady breaths out. Seeing if you can perhaps deepen the breath. Maybe seeing if you can attach a slow count of 3 or 4 to the inhale, to the exhale. After your next deep breath in and out, coming through center and taking your opposite ear to the mat. So your left ear comes down towards the mat. Again, you could be perhaps making a little pillow with the hands, or maybe the left ear is on the mat, the big toes together, the palms face up by the sides. Whatever is working for you. And when you're settled, when you're comfortable, just returning to that deep, steady breath. So not forcing the breath, but just letting it slowly start to expand. That lovely fullness of the inhale, of the exhale. Lovely passive stretch the outside of the neck. Lovely way to just bring a little space into the spine. So a really, really gentle back bend here. Just gently, slowly starting to find a little bit more room in the body. Feeling the eyelids heavy, the jaw heavy. Counting out 5 more deep breaths in now, please. Really deep inhales. Slow, steady exhales. One more deep breath in. And from there, we are coming up to a Sphinx pose. So just bringing the elbows underneath the shoulders. So You can intensify this stretch by moving the elbows further underneath the shoulders, or if it's too much, elbows move out in front of you. So here, try not to overly lift the neck because that will cause tightness in the muscles of the neck, but just let the gaze be forwards. Just aim to find length through the spine. Inhaling, exhaling, seeing if you can let the shoulders sink away, the chest reach through the arms, maybe closing the eyes. Visualizing the breath as it flows through the body. Feeling the breath. Maybe noticing where the breath begins, how it flows, how it lifts the spine, maybe it lifts the chest, and exhale. Just feeling that softening of the shoulders. Really full breaths in and out. Just intensifying very slightly that stretch in the back body. Taking one more with a deep inhale. Exhale. And then from there, we're going to bring the right knee out in line with the right hip. So we're taking a half frog. So you can either stay up high on the forearms, or you could bring the head down and make a little pillow with the arms, entirely up to you. So if you're not quite feeling this stretch yet, you might want to come up onto the forearms and actively move the left hip over to the left side of the mat, and the right knee can come down. We're going to find a stretch down the inside of the right leg here. Remember, if you want to put a towel or a bit of a softening, anything to soften under that knee, feel free. Deep breaths in. And so just finding any expression that feels good for you. And starting to soften there. Release. Deep breaths in. And deep breaths out. So starting to open up through the hips here. Letting gravity and the breath do all the work. And seeing if you can start to let the body sink and soften. Seeing if you can let go of any holding in the shoulders, in the hips, in the toes, in the legs, feeling the whole body become heavier on the mat. Seeing if you can feel the eyes become heavier, the jaw become heavier. And releasing, surrendering to simply softening with the breath. Enjoying that fullness in the breath. Enjoying this moment to simply let the body find space without strain, just gravity and heat and the breath, gently opening up the muscles. For 5, inhale, exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1 more inhale, and exhale. From there, letting the right foot move back, and we are taking the left knee up now. So the left knee is coming up in line with the left hip. Remember, you can be up on the forearms as before. Remember, if you want to take a little bit of support under that left knee, you're very welcome to. You can bring the right ear down to the mat and just enjoy this lovely, stretchy, soft, released version, finding that space in the outside of the neck. Remember, if you want to just take a little more intensity, just come on up and nudge the right hips over to the right side of the mat and the left knee away. So you're just intensifying that stretch down the outside and the inside of the left leg. And chilling out here. Deep breaths. And out. Closing the eyes. Once again, just letting the mind settle on the breath. Letting the body slow down. Inhaling. Exhaling that steady flow, that steady rhythm with the breath. Feeling the body relax and switch off with the exhale. So these longer holds really beneficial in terms of developing long-term flexibility and finding that space. It's about letting go. So you just need to release, let go, turn off any fighting against that stretch. Let yourselves come to wherever feels good. Steady breaths in and out. Just really attenuating to what it feels like to be in your body right now. How the breath feels, the colours behind the eyelids, sensations under the fingertips, feeling into how it is to be you right now in this moment. Taking 5 more deep breaths in and out. Taking 1 more really deep inhale and exhale. And from there, returning the left foot to meet right, hands under the shoulders, using the core, pressing up into a table pose. So hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Just moving a little more into the quads and the hips here. Just going to take a little bit of movement. So from our table pose, just lifting up the right knee and just taking a few little circles, mobilising that joint. And with the left, so we've spent quite a lot of time in stillness, opening up through the hips, so just finding a little bit of movement there. Release. Perfect. From there, we're going to take the right foot forwards and find a lunge. Again, if you want to place a bit of padding under that left knee, feel free. Thinking about letting the hips sink forwards and the chest reach forwards. Deep inhale. And exhale. So we're just letting the body sink forwards, stretch forwards. If it feels nice, you can roll onto the outer edge of that right foot and maybe take the right hand to the right knee and just enjoy that opening through the right hip. We're finding a stretch down this left hip flexor as well, feeling the spine extend. So you've got the option to just be here in this low lunge, letting the hips sink forwards, in which case you'll find it slightly deeper stretch in this left hip flexor, shoulders down the back, or you can take this little opening, shoulders down the back, entirely up for you. You won't be here too long, just finding a little bit of space. Inhale, exhale for 3, so long through the spine, shoulders relaxed, keeping that breath steady here. 2, 1 more, inhale, and exhale. From there, we're going to move into pigeon. So this right foot is now going to move over to the left side of the mat. The right knee is on the right side of the mat. So if you're in pigeon, you're looking over your left shoulder. Make sure the knee, ankle, hip are sliding out behind you. The right foot is flexed. And then you might comfortably relax down. Should feel like a nice big stretch on the inside of the hip and the outside of the right leg. Of course, if that's not right for you, you could also take an animal pose, a really lovely soft alternative. Left knee is spiraling out, so make a little spiral of the legs, and you can have a play with whether you want to be stretched more over the toes or the knee. It might be you're quite high up. It might be that you're able to comfortably sink down. So entirely up to you. It's either taking your animal pose or your pigeon pose. Thinking about extending, stretching out and relaxing down. Try not to fall too heavily onto this right hip. So if you find you're piking really far, try and keep the weight even. You can always place a little bit of support, a pillow, a rolled up towel underneath this right hip to support that right hip. Inhaling and exhaling, relaxing down. So you can make a little stack with your elbows, use a brick, you could release the head to the floor, whatever feels nice for you. We're opening out through the hips here, but focusing as well on finding this quality of lengthening through the spine. So also imagine the crown of the head is being pulled forwards, the left toes are creeping back, and the shoulders softening. Or if you're animal pose, it's the same sense that the spine is lengthening from the base of the spine to the crown of the head and away. Inhaling and exhaling. So relaxing down, really deep, full breaths in and out. Eyes are softening. Jaw and face softening. Shoulders releasing. Again, taking this opportunity to go within. To find the breath. Slow down the mind. And working here for another 3. Inhale. Exhale. 2. One more deep breath in. And out. From there, just gently walking the hands back up and finding your way back to a table pose. Hands underneath the shoulders, and we'll take that little lunge on the other side. So taking your left foot now outside the left hand and starting to slide the right knee back. So once again, we're finding a lunge. Left knee is over left ankle, hips are moving forward, shoulders are relaxed. So we're stretching forwards, thinking about finding space in the hip flexors. Of course, you're very welcome to stay here as before, or if you're feeling it, you might find it nice to take the left hand to the left knee and just enjoy that slight spiraling open through the chest, finding space in the hips, inhaling and exhaling. Thinking about extending through the spine, letting the shoulders relax. Inhale and exhale. So just encouraging that left knee open now. Thinking about finding the breath. Still find that quality of lengthening through the spine. Perfect. Deep breaths in. And won't be here too long. Another 3. Inhale. Exhaling 2. So stretching into the hip flexors, into the hips. One more deep breath in. And out. From there, you're heel toeing the left foot over to the right side of the mat. The left foot is flexed. Looking over your right shoulder, right knee, ankle, hip sliding out behind you and starting to gently stretch forwards there. So once again, we're thinking about finding an even distribution of weight through the hips. We're extending the right foot out behind us, stretching out, inhaling, and exhaling to soften, release, relax. Deep breaths in, and out. So our pigeon pigeon pose. Remember, you can stay here. If you want to take your right knee around into an animal pose, make a little spiral of the legs, you're very welcome to. So just taking that right knee forwards. Again, you can have a little play with whether the body weight is forwards or backwards over that left leg. So entirely up to you. Thinking about lengthening out, stretching out. Deep breaths in and out. Well done. You can make a little step with the hands, whatever feels good. Deep, steady breaths in and out. Finding that quality of the chest sinking down towards the mat. Working here for 5. Inhale. Exhale. 4. Well done. 3. Deep breaths in and out. 2. One more. Inhale and exhale. From there, you're walking the hands up, tucking the toes, finding your way back to a table pose. From there, you might want to just tuck the toes and extend, straighten out with one leg, swap it over, take a little stretch out with the other, whatever feels nice. Just thinking about finding that little bit of movement through the back body. And when you're ready, finding your way to a puppy pose here. So knees are over the hips. We're going to just gently stretch the spine forwards. Letting the forehead come to the mat. Maybe creeping the fingertips forward so the hips are high above the knees. The chest is sinking down towards the mat. Feeling a lovely stretch out through the underarms. Letting the eyes soften. Connecting in with the breath, deep and full, steady inhales. Exhale. So our puppy pose, a lovely opportunity to fully release the spine. Feeling how each breath extends and lengthens the spine. So we're feeling the hips lift high, stretching out through the spine. Of course, if you're feeling it, you could come down to melted heart, bringing the chest and chin down towards the mat, really intensifying that stretch through the chest, or feel free to stay up high if you prefer. Breathing deeply into the spine, into the back body, into the chest. 5, inhale. 4, exhale through. 1 more. From there, we're going to take the right shoulder onto the mat, letting the left hand sneak out in front of you. We've stretched long into the underarms, now finding space through the shoulder. So shimmy yourself around, find somewhere that feels good for you. If you want to hook that left hand around towards the right hip, that can feel nice, or you can let it continue out in front of you. You can even let it just be soft and hang out. So whatever feels good. We're just aiming to find length in the spine, space in that right shoulder. Releasing through the lumbar spine. Inhale. Exhale. So finding space in the front and left side of the chest. For 3. Inhale. Exhale. Letting the low back stretch out. 2. 1 more. Inhale. And exhale, coming back to table. And taking that on the other side. So left palm faces up, left shoulder comes down onto the mat. Right hand again can stretch out in front of you. Maybe staying there, or maybe taking your right hand around to the left hip. Whatever works for you. And just find that lovely little bit of space. Again, a little passive stretch through the side of the neck. Hands. Either out in front of you, stretching over the chest, or maybe front side and finding space on the front right side of the chest if you've got that right hand reaching to the left hand. Feel how the breath opens up the back body. Each inhale Filling the back body with oxygen, with energy. And relax. Deep inhales. Exhale, letting the body surrender down to gravity. The eyes, the jaw soften for 5. Deep breaths in. And 4. Feeling that flow through. 2. One more inhale. Exhale. Come back through table. And from there we're going to sink the sit bones down towards the heels, moving into a rabbit pose. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the hands to the heels, the chin to the chest. We're going to roll down, bring the forehead to the mat. So you should feel like the nose is quite near the knees. Then you're going to lift the hips up high. The hands are holding really tight on towards the heels. So you should feel like quite an intense stretch down the back body. Take as little weight as you can through the hands. Keeping the chin tucked into the chest, lifting the hips high. Just finding a lovely full stretch right down the lumbar spine for 3. Won't be here too long. Just a little reset, a little inversion. Countering those deep chest openers. 2. One more inhale. And exhale, hips to heels, chin to chin. Roll them up. Head comes up last, well done. From there, we're just going to bring the feet out in front of you. So moving into a little bit of hip opening here. So soles of the feet are going to come together. And we're going to start off walking the hands out behind us. So focusing on lifting through the chest, pressing the soles of the feet together, finding that lovely sense of space through the chest. Really squeeze the core. Almost see if you can lift, extend through the heart space. Inhaling. Exhaling. So we're really active through the feet, stretching out through the hips. Deep breaths in. And close the eyes. Take 3 more breaths. Inhale for the chest. Reach up. Shoulders soften. 2. One more. Inhale. And exhale. From there, we are going to turn the feet the other way, so the feet are grounded. We're going to turn the hands the other way so the fingertips are facing forwards. And just give the legs a little windscreen wiper from side to side. So a little twist out through the spine, through the hips. And then creeping forwards. We're going to take a forward fold. So left leg extends, right foot comes into the left inner thigh. Left foot is flexed, inhale, lifting up, angling over that left leg and folding forwards. So as always, you've got loads of options here. If you want to take a bend in that left knee, feel free. If you want to just let the hands come behind you and actively push forwards. If you want to reach for the toes, welcome. If you'd like to use a strap, you're also very welcome. So whatever feels good. Thinking about grounding down with the sit bones. Thinking about making sure this right shoulder doesn't start to tilt. You want to rotate, inhaling, exhaling. So you're hinging in the waist, focusing on lengthening through the back of this left hamstring. Flexing the toes will help activate the muscles of the back of that leg and will help find greater stretch. But if you want to be soft, rock on. So active or maybe more passive. Using the breath, inhaling, exhaling. So stretching right out down the back of that left leg for 5. Maybe shuffling that left hip backwards. Inhale, hinging the waist. Imagine you're drawing the rib cage to the knees. 4. Soft through the shoulders, really lengthening out. Inhaling, exhaling. 3. So we're finding space in the hamstrings. 2. One more. Inhale, exhale. Roll on up. Inhale, reaching tall, shoulders down. Exhale, twist, counter twist. Left hand to right knee, right hand behind you. Deep inhale. Exhale. And transition. Right leg is extending, left foot is coming in. Finding the sit bones. Inhale, lift, angle over the right leg and take that forward fold. This left shoulder is drawing down, making sure you're rotating. Option to bend that right knee. Option to plant the hands behind you. Option to use a strap. Wherever you are, you're trying to breathe your way into this. So feel the sit bones ground. Make sure this left sit bone doesn't pike up. Flexing the right foot will activate the muscles and help you get into that hamstring. Inhale, moving the body weight forward. So feel that inhale, lift the body. So it's a forwards fold, remember, not a downwards fold. So first we find height, then we move forwards, and then that gives you the space to move downwards. So we're aiming to find a lovely stretch down through the lower back, through the hamstrings. Inhale. Feel that inhale, extend, stretch out into the lumbar spine. Exhale, relax. Using a strap, you're just using that as a little extension through the arms, an opportunity to just find a little bit more engagement without compromising the shoulders. We don't want the shoulders to creep forwards too much. We want to keep that sense of an opening chest. Inhaling. Exhaling. So aiming to find space both in the hamstrings and in the lower back as we get a passive stretch for this left hip. Working here for 5. Inhale. Exhale. 4. Deep breaths in. And out 3. 2. 1 more inhale. Exhale. Roll and we're not there. Well done. So finding your way back up seated. Inhale, lift up high with the hands, shoulders down. Exhale, little counter twist. Right hand to left knee, left hand behind you. Thinking about that length in the spine, finding that rotation. Deep breaths in. And well done. From there, rolling through center, extending both legs out, and rolling all the way down to lie on your back. So once again, we might just take a little passive wiggle from side to side with the hips, a little stretch. And when you're ready, hugging in both knees, and we're going to take the palms out wide and let both knees fall to the left. So when you are taking this little double leg spinal twist, you've got loads of options. It could be taking this quite soft variation. It could be that you start to have a play with whether the knees are closer or further from the chest. If you can, you might have a play sneaking that right foot on top of left. So that usually when we come down, the right knee is about an inch behind the left. If you start to nudge that right knee forward, you should feel quite an intense stretch through the spine. You can also intensify the stretch by taking that right foot around and tucking it around so you're wrapping the legs up. So whatever works for you, stacking the knees, wrapping the legs, and letting the left shoulder release down to the mat, the left hand extend away. If it feels comfortable, you can let the gaze turn away from the knees. So we're stretching out through the spine. Really lovely to release the spine, releasing through the left shoulder. Twists are fantastic for the digestion, fantastic for the spine. Really lovely little pose to take at the end of the day. Inhale, exhale, getting into the upper back and into the lower back. Still finding that slow, deep breath, that quality of softening that we found at the beginning of class. Working here for another 3. Inhale. Exhaling 2. 1 more deep breath in. And out, transition. Coming through center. Just take a moment. When you're ready, we're lifting the knees up and we're dropping them over to the right. So as before, you can have a play. Are the knees closer or further from the chest? Do you want to maybe stack that right knee on top of the left? Left knee on top of the right. Maybe letting that left shoulder continue down. So finding that stretch, feel it right down through the back of the neck, the body. If you want to wrap the legs around each other, you're very welcome to. So whatever little variations you enjoy, maybe the gaze turns away. And breathe, relax. Just letting the shoulders release, the spine unravel, breath be fluid. Deep inhales and exhales. So once again, we're twisting through the spine. Lovely way to find space in the back body. We're finding a bit of space on the outside of the left leg, for the left side of the shoulder. Deep inhales, steady exhales. Finding that quality of softness of letting go. For another 5, inhale. Exhale, 4. So you can completely relax down. 3. Inhale. Exhale, 2. And 1. Floating through center. Planting the feet down. Palms face down. Right ankle is going to come to the left knee there. And we're going to take the hands through to the back of the left thigh, to the back of the left knee maybe. You can even come all the way around and hug all the way around. So it's entirely up to you. You can also keep that left foot on the floor. So what we're aiming to do is find a stretch down the back of this right leg and through the right hip. So you could either stay here, you might bring hands to the back of the thigh, to underneath the shin, or all the way around, whatever works for you. And using the breath to find space. Inhale. Exhale. Just try to keep the shoulders tucking down the back here. The tailbone reaching to the floor. The shoulders softening. The eyes, the face softening. Back of the neck long. Deep breaths in. And out. So we're opening up these deep muscles of the lower body. Maybe returning to the quality of breath as at the beginning of class. Feeling into how it feels to breathe right now in your body this way. Deep inhale and exhale. For 5, inhale. Exhale, and seeing if you can just start to switch off the mind. 4, focusing on the count of the breath and the breath itself. 3, inhale, exhaling. 2, 1 more deep breath in and out. When you're ready, release it. Left foot comes down. The right foot is going to come onto the mat, the left ankle comes onto the right knee. So as before, you're very welcome to stay here. This might be a stretch. Left knee moving away, finding a stretch down the back of the left leg, the inside of the left hip. Maybe taking the hands through to the back of the right leg. Maybe taking the right hand to underneath the shin. Maybe taking the hands all the way around and finding that lovely intense stretch. Entirely up feet to you. Remember, you want to focus on maintaining that length in the spine as much as you can. So try to avoid any sense of strain in the neck. Making sure the back body is long. So chin to chest, back of the body long. Shoulders are, you might be moving forwards, but then you're countering that by actively moving them down and away, not compromising the shoulder stability. Left hip is grounded. The sit bones are moving towards the mat. We're using the breath to find space. Inhale. Exhale. So letting the shoulders soften. Letting the breath flow easy. Finding that lovely space through the backs of the legs. Finding that space in the mind. Focusing the mind on the breath, on the sensations in the body. For 5, inhale. Exhale. 4. 3. 2. 1 more inhale. And exhale. Taking the hands to the knees, drawing some big sweeping circles with the knees away from each other and towards each other. And take a happy baby. The same fingers to the big toes, knees in towards the armpits. Having a little wiggle, a little stretch. Thinking about extending the whole of the tailbone down towards the mat. Knees into the armpits, feet to sky, a little semi-inversion. Maybe straightening out with one leg, with the other, if that would be nice. Maybe you pull around the bottom of the knees if you prefer. Whatever feels good. Just one more inhale. Exhale. And then from there, extend out the arms with the legs. Give yourself a little yawn, a little stretch. Even locking the hands, reaching out over the head. Pressing out one foot with the other. Inhale. Exhale, soft shoulders. Maybe taking the left foot over right and moving the left and right foot together over to the right of the mat. Maybe then shimmying your right shoulder over to the mat. So we're finding a little banana shape down the side body. You can take the right hand around the left knee, the wrist, and just give it a little pull. Just stretching out that whole left side of the body. Inhale. Exhale. Taking one more deep breath. And out. And then maybe take a little shimmy to the side. So unraveling your legs. Right foot can move over left. Right and left foot move over to the left side of the mat. And then you can shimmy the left shoulder over to the left side of the mat. Taking the left hand around the right wrist maybe, and just pulling out, encouraging a little bit of length down that right side of the body. Inhaling. Exhaling, well done. So lovely little stretch and release. Inhale. Exhale. Well done. Full steady breaths in and out for 3. Inhale. Exhale. 2. Lovely steady breaths. One more deep inhale. Exhale. Coming back through centered air. Give yourself a little wiggle, a little squeeze, whatever would be nice. And then just relax out. So feet out, maybe the hands by the side, maybe on the belly, over the head. Whatever at all feels nice for you. And just returning to that deep, slow breath in and out that we started with. Feeling that deep breath in the lower belly, the side body and the back body. Inhaling. And on your exhale, feeling the body ground down. From heels, the backs of calves, the backs of thighs, the glutes, the hips. Inhale. Exhaling, letting the lower legs relax. Letting the left shoulder, the right shoulder, left elbow, left hand, right elbow, right hand. Inhale. Exhaling, letting the shoulders, the arms, the hands relax. Head is heavy, jaw, eyes, face softening. Inhale. And exhaling, letting the whole of the body switch off. Shavasana. And you can spend as long as you like to in rest. Thank you all so much for joining. Have a beautiful rest of the day. Thank you, and namaste.